What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Road to Recovery YouTube channel, a video series to encourage men battling porn addiction. And in today's episode, I want to help you guys learn from your mistakes. If you visit any sort of recovery forum or a place where discussion about porn addiction is taking place, you might see many posts about men reporting repeated relapses. And maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you find yourself stuck in the cycle of porn addiction and you find yourself relapsing day after day. Now, let me ask you, what is a relapse? In order to answer this question, I want to share a story with you guys. Now, I'm a father and I have two children, and my wife and I are teaching our young children the responsibility of doing chores. And one of their chores is to clean up their rooms. So in the morning time, I'll tell my son, I'll remind him that he has to clean his room before we leave the house. This is what he's supposed to do. So when it's time to leave, I'll check up on him. And sometimes when I go to check up on him, I'll see him playing with his toys. And I'll ask him, did you finish cleaning up your room? And he'll tell me, no, I haven't finished yet. But he's playing with his toys. So as adults, we can decipher what's going on here. He never started cleaning up his room, but he doesn't want to get in trouble for playing with his toys. So he'll just tell me that he hasn't finished cleaning up his room yet. Well, you can't finish what you haven't started. And some of you treat your recovery from porn addiction this very way. Some of you are reporting repeated relapses and that you just can't defeat this porn addiction. But you haven't really started the recovery process yet. You can't relapse if you never started recovery. When a drug addict goes into rehab, he has started the recovery process. But when a drug addict continues to abuse different substances day after day without starting the rehab process, he cannot claim that he keeps relapsing because no effort was made to begin the recovery process. You see, it's the exact same thing for porn addiction. So maybe you find yourself in a place in your life where you never started your recovery process. I want to help you get your feet in front of you. Or maybe you have started a recovery process, but you've fallen off the wagon. It's okay. I want to help you back up and give you a plan that'll help you defeat the cycle of porn addiction. When my wife first discovered my porn addiction, she grew very frustrated with me, and I also grew very frustrated with myself because I told her I would stop looking at porn, but I kept on viewing porn, and I kept telling her that I just had a slip up and it wouldn't happen again, and this became a repeated process. Over and over again, I would tell her, I just had a slip up, it wouldn't happen again. The problem here is that I never had a plan in place. I never started the recovery process, and I don't want you guys to make the same mistake that I made. When I first started my recovery from porn addiction, the most vital thing I did was get an accountability partner. When you have those slip-ups, talk about it with your accountability partner. This is the number one way you can learn from your mistakes. An example of this is if your wife is going away for the weekend. Let's say your wife is going on a weekend's getaway and you find yourself all alone and you fall into the temptation of porn. You watch porn and you have a relapse. You clearly messed up, but the worst thing you can do is not learn from this mistake. Your wife is going to go out again. You're not going to be together all the time. So you have to learn from this mistake. So what you need to do is talk to your accountability partner and learn from this mistake. Hey, my wife was away and I slipped up and watched some porn. What emotions were you feeling? Were you feeling lonely? Were you feeling bored? What was it? Is there some other activity you could have done to occupy yourself? Could you have called your wife and have a conversation with her so you have that sense of connection? And most importantly, you already knew that your wife was going on a getaway. This was a planned event, so you should have planned for yourself as well. If you plan ahead, you will not give opportunity for porn addiction to take a hold in your life. I've also heard from some men who struggle after a night out. They'll be all amped up, out with their friends, drinking, having a good time, and then when they come back home, the feeling of loneliness just hits them. Or you might feel like you don't have control over yourself and you go back to viewing porn. So if this is something that you would struggle with, you would create a plan to have a check-in with your accountability partner after a night out. You might set a limit of how much drinking you are going to do at this event. You cannot learn from your mistakes if you don't take any action. Another really common one is men who struggle with social media. You might be browsing through Instagram, see something triggering, and the next thing you know is you're on Pornhub. If this happens again and again, you're not learning from your mistakes. Just delete the stupid app. You don't need it in your life. Whatever the situation might be, make a plan that works for you so you can learn from your mistakes. It might seem simple, it might seem obvious, but truly, the only way to recover from porn addiction is by learning from our mistakes. All right, you guys, I want to let you know that you are not alone. If this is something you struggle with, consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. You don't have to do this alone. I'll help you out and be right by your side during your road to recovery. Until next time.